Hello, my name is Kurt, and today I'll be making a quick video discussing my journey into watch repair. Now my interest in watches has shifted into watch repair. All sorts of watch repairs. Quick wristwatch check, wearing what Archie Luxury would call a shitter watch. Camera's pretty shoddy here. A Waltham 21 jewel manual wind movement on the same leather strap that I took off of my 14 karat gold Omega. I'll get into that later. But as you can see here, I have a couple of pocket watches, and I recommend anybody journeying into watch repair to start off with pocket watches. Why would I recommend that? First of all, the screws and all the parts are bigger and easily accessible and easily removed through standard screwdrivers you could find at your local supermarket that are used for eyeglass repair and stuff like that. They usually fit into the slots of the slotted screw. If it doesn't, you could really sharpen the cheap Rite Aid or Walgreens or what have you screwdriver easily with sandpaper or whatever machine you have to make it fit, because you're not going to lose much money, because those are cheap pharmacy screwdrivers are only like $1 for a case. Now, it looks like this. See? Screwdriver, some screws, some spongy things for eyeglass repair. Like $1 or $2 for this, so even if you screw it up, it's no big deal. So, good beginner tools. I wouldn't recommend getting like super fancy sets yet, because you don't really know what you're doing. Now, diagnosing a problem. The first pocket watch I have here that I tried working on is an Ingersoll Waterbury pocket watch. I think it's 7 jewels or something like that. Popped open the back. It came included with all the hands and everything. Everything was fine cosmetically. But when I popped open the back, I found it hard for it to wind. So I released the tension from the mainspring and from all the mechanisms. But then I realized that it doesn't want to wind back up, and it doesn't want to release any force, mainly because the escapement wheel, which I have here, these are very tiny parts. I'm sorry if you guys can't see it, but it's the wheel. It's a small wheel with the little teeth on, like the wider teeth, because all the gears are toothed, but this one has sort of a wider grip teeth, because it works with the pallet fork. And on here you have a little gear. Like I said, this camera's not going to pick it up. But you have a gear on this side, and on this side, on the tip of it, there is what they call, I believe it's a pinion, or something along those lines. Basically, I don't know all the fancy words for it. Basically, it's this sharp pin, not sharp, but very thin pinpoint that fits into the bridges and the certain plates in the watch. Now, what happened here is that this escapement wheel has a broken point. So the escapement wheel works and it sticks there, but when the movement receives any power, it's not powering the rest of the watch or the other parts, the pallet fork and the balance wheel, because it is spinning erratically and it is not being held in place. So the power and all the force is being expelled, and the wheel is rattling all over the watch movement, and it's not staying in place, and it's not using that force to hit the little forks on the pallet fork. So anyway, that was the diagnosis for that watch. I am beyond that is beyond my experience for repairs, because I could basically pretty much take a watch apart, give it a good cleaning, give it a good oiling, and put it back together with some minor complications here and there. And trust me, this was a pain in the ass to take apart. That's what I'm going to get into a little bit later, because the little pins and all that stuff were very small and very complicated to get all the stuff back together. But I did get it back together So I'll use this watch as sort of a parts watch. If any other watch of mine requires any spare gears or maybe even hands or something, I'll try to work with that and sort of jury rig all that stuff together to make it work. The main watch I recommend for anybody beginning into watch repair is a Westclox. Any type of Westclox pocket watch, whether it's Pocket Ben. Over here I have the Westclox Scotty, mainly because it's very simple. Pop open the back, which I already did. The movement is very cheap, very simple, because these watches were sold for like $1 or so back in the day. And let me see if I could do a quick stem removal here on camera with one hand. I don't think it's gonna work. Give me a second, people. I'm still here. I just need to pop this out here. I'm using a needle, so the needle point is being stuck into my fingers here. I'm not going to screw around with it now. But the basic thing is there's a hole right there. You stick something in there that's very thin, you push it up, and that releases the stem. Once the stem is released, the whole movement pretty much pops out, which is beautiful. That's why I'm saying this is a very easy watch to work on, because also, I don't know if you could see here, hold on, I'm going to try to get out of the shadow, try to get out of the glare. There are, if you follow my finger here, there are the pinion points or the pivot points, whatever the hell they're called, these little metal sharp pieces that fit into these holes here. They're a lot bigger on this, so it's more forgiving. You can make a lot more mistakes, and it's easier to fit into place, whereas the more sophisticated and more expensive watches, the smaller the pinion points are, and it's easier for them to snap, to break, to misplace them, to do a lot of different things. And so yeah, this is a nice, easy, cheap watch to work with. Once you pop out the stem, the whole movement falls out. With the other watches, with the more complicated pocket watches, you have to unscrew certain things, and you have to do a lot of different other things. And some of the pocket watches, the stem doesn't release at all, and there's different ways for the movement to pop up, and it's just complicated. But anyway, here I have some tools, a hand removal tool. I have this little cheap ass made in China garbage thing that doesn't want to grip anything, and it bends like a dick in the wind, forgive my language. A flaccid dick in the wind, that is. Anyway, I have this extra screwdriver here that's very small for smaller screws. Here I have a jeweler's loupe, magnifying glass pretty much, that you put on your eyes when you work with small parts. That is all a necessity. And here I have what I consider a hunter's watch, because there's a bunch of deers and all these sorts of things in a hunter here. I haven't cleaned it, haven't polished it yet, but I found this in a thrift shop for 40 bucks, I think it was. And it had some minor problems that I had to fix, but as you can see, the dial is pristine, very fancy, very nice. I don't feel like popping off the back right now to show you the movement, but everything is a gold tone. Everything is Swiss made. It's beautiful. This is an Arnex pocket watch, by the way. The hands are very intricate and everything. So yeah, I got that. It's pretty nice. There's an intricate design on the back too. Very fancy. So yeah, I love these antiques. I love working on watches. Pocket watches, that is, for now. Here I have the case opener. And things like that, you know, and sooner or later I'm definitely going to drift into wristwatch repair, but wristwatches are more complicated because you need a professional set of screwdrivers and a good magnifying eyewear and a very steady hand, because the pieces are a lot tinier than in a pocket watch, obviously. So yeah, I ordered a couple of shitter watches, beater vintage watches, Waltham and Orvin, both 21 jewels, both manual wine. They run accurately, they run fine, but some people would call this a shitter watch. I enjoy watches of all types, switch them out. And the bracelet, a lot of people that I know, watch enthusiasts and such, go to the jeweler to replace their band or put in another band that they already have onto their watch. The jewelers usually charge 10, 15, maybe $20 for something that takes literally 5 or less minutes. 3 minutes, 2 minutes if you have enough practice. Just pop off the spring bars, and then you could switch out the strap really easy. Now, you don't really need a special tool for this, but I have this fork-like device, as you can see here, that you would put it in between the strap area, like by the tips of the strap, and then you just pull it down. The spring bar releases tension. Sometimes it flies across the room, but if you hold it properly, it shouldn't shoot out anywhere. You grab it, boom, flip out the spring bars, take them off the strap, put in the spring bars into a new strap, and so forth and so on. Anyway, enough rambling. That's my journey so far. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys gained some knowledge from this. And if you guys are interested, like I said, start with West Clocks. West Clocks Scotty, West Clocks Pocket Bend. They go for like $10 or less on eBay. It's really no big deal if you screw it up, whatever. It gives you a lot of practice, a lot of experience. You do it enough times, you'll understand how everything is structured, how everything works. It's basically like a car. You have certain parts here. The mainspring, you have the gear train under here, the balance wheel. It's all the same in all pretty much pocket watches, except the parts are fancier and maybe located in different areas. But once you know how to identify everything, you're good to go. That's why I'm saying start with the cheap stuff first. So if you screw it up, it's no big deal, and you get your experience from that, and you can move on to higher end pieces, and so forth and so on. Anyway, take it easy, people, and have a good one.